Guys, my name is Bhushan. I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In our previous lecture, we have created update and delete link, and also we have embedded the student ID in update and delete link, but we haven't write the controller part. So in this lecture, let's do that. Flip to your Eclipse IDE. So let's concentrate on update operation first. So whenever the user clicks on update link, we have to display addStudent.jsp with the pre-filled values. So the question is, how do we do that? Anyhow, we have embedded the student ID in our update link. So when the user clicks on update link, we will send that student ID to a DAO. In the DAO, we will search for the student object with the respective student ID. So once we got the student object, we will bring that student object back to a controller. So from the controller, we will send it to JSP. So this is the whole idea of the update operation. So let's do that. First of all, let's write a private method, private, and this method will return a student object, student, and the method name find by ID. This will accept student ID as parameter, and now we will send this student ID to our service layer. For that, let's call a service method, student service dot get student object by ID. For this, we will pass student ID, and this will return a student object, and we will return this student object. Alright, let's create this get student object by ID method. Press Ctrl 1 and create this method, and in our service interface we have declared this method. Save this and open your student service implementation and add unimplemented methods. Press Ctrl 1 and add unimplemented methods, and here we will call our DAO method. So using a student DAO object, we will call the DAO method get student object by ID. So for this we will pass a student ID, and this will also return a student object. Now let's create this method in our DAO, and in our DAO interface we have declared this method, and go to your DAO implementation. In DAO implementation, let's add unimplemented methods. So here we will write our Hibernate query. So first of all, let's get the current session. For that, we will use a session factory object, session factory dot get current session. On this get current session, I will call a get method. So this will accept two parameters. The first parameter we will pass our student object, and the second parameter we will pass a student ID. So this will return a student object, student, and we have to cast this, and this will return a student object. So save this, and in our service implementation, above your method specify add transactional annotation. Save this and go back to our controller. So in our controller we got a student object. Now let's write our actual method. Public string show update form. So now we have to accept a student ID as a parameter. So for that, anyhow, when the user clicks on update link from JSP, we will send a student ID. So now we have to accept that student ID. For that, we will use request param. So specify at request param, and here we will specify the student ID, and this will gives a student ID, integer student ID. So above our method, let's specify a request mapping. Let's specify the value slash update form. I think show update form is good. Save this. Make sure we have to specify a same name as you have specified in list students JSP. So these two names should be matched, otherwise you will get an exception. So this will return a string, that is our JSP add student. So inside this we will write our business logic. So let's call our private method, that is find by id. Find by id. For this we will pass a student id, and this will gives a student object, student, and we will add this student object to a model attribute. Model dot add attribute. Alright, we haven't accepted the model as a parameter. Let's do that. Model, and for this model we will add our student object. Like I said, this model internally works as a map interface. For that we will specify a key and a value. And one more thing, we have to specify the same name as we have specified in our addStudent.jsp. In our addStudent.jsp, the model attribute we have specified as student. So in our student controller we have to specify the same name, because we have to send the student object back to our JSP. So in our JSP it will search us for this model attribute. If you give a different name, then you will the values should not pre-populate. So make sure you have to specify a same name as you have specified in our add student model attribute. Save the project and run the project, and let's see what will happen. Alright, let's click on this list students link and click on update link, and we're getting an exception. It's obvious. Let's see what the error is. Alright, I got it. So we have specified the request mapping as a show update forum, but in our list students JSP we have specified as update record. So let me change this to show update forum. So paste it here and save your project and go back to your browser and reload the page one more time and click on list students and click on update link. There you go, the values are pre-populating, but in hobbies the values are not checking. This is a small issue. We will fix this issue as we go further, or in our upcoming videos we will fix this issue. But apart from this checkboxes, all the values are pre-populating: the city, address, gender, date of birth, email, and John. So in our next lecture we will perform the delete operation. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in next video.